Hey, BC. Listening to Redesigned Volume 2, the free design. Currently, Danger Mouse and Murs about to play. Free design, Sunshine Pop, late 60s, excellent. Love them. They've
Dear Marcus, I know it's been hard times since they made you the victim of your so-called crime. Kinda snatched you out the game of life. In your mind, they already took one.
I dig this rap, you know, talking about the reality of the disparity, how things go down because of race. Love the free design and Danger Mouse. Love it all. Thought I'd just rap for a few seconds and then get out of here. You know, I just like to just maintain this contact and talk about contrast. You know, the last two videos I did, I went ahead and showed some of the heavier music in my collection, and that was fun, you know, and appreciated the interaction. And son of a gun, if while that was happening, I'm gonna turn this down some more. Actually, three people have re-emerged from the VC that I haven't seen for ages. Spellerine, for one. Spellerine is one of the people that, you know, was making videos before me, and I've discovered him, and he was hooked in, and there was a whole thing going before I arrived, you know. And Spellerine and Mr. Hall of Fame and Record Collector and Nathan Morales and all those guys had it going on, and I arrived, you know. Spellerine is back. It's nice. Also, Cool Ranch Dressing, River and Shelley. They had made a video in November and finally uploaded it, and then I see that River has been commenting on my videos. They're back. You know, the VC is a reflection of the real world. It's fluid and it's organic. People's lives have twists and turns, and those permutations are reflected here in the vinyl community. Really glad to see these people back in action. Like, just glad that their presence is here, you know. It's a wonderful thing. Another VC member, Anders in Stockholm. Anders had a birthday. Happy birthday, Anders. And so there was some stuff going on Facebook in regards to his birthday, and some records he found and what he loves, and I had pulled some records. So I'll just show what I pulled. And the word contrast came to mind because I had been showing heavy music, and then we were talking with Anders about jazz, and he loves and I love jazz, free jazz, Albert Ayler. And here's my copy of Ghosts by Albert Ayler with Don Cherry, Gary Peacock, and Sonny Murray. This is a hell of an album. My version is a UK pressing on Fontana, 1969. I've had mine since maybe 74, 75. Amazing music. Amazing music. We were also getting into, I'm going to go back through some of these. Buster Williams, bass player who was with Herbie Hancock for a while. This is laid back but fantastic. This is Crystal Reflections with Kenny Barron, Roy Ayers, and Billy Hart. Sweet. This is sweet. I'll do the jazz first. I was even thinking of playing some, actually, because we were talking about Anthony Braxton. Anthony Braxton is a pioneering jazz musician and composer. His son is Tiande Braxton, who was in Battles for a while. I forget what Tiande's doing now, but this is his dad, Anthony Braxton. Truly a pioneer of jazz. He actually has formulas for the names of some of his compositions. I was playing this last night. This is really incredible, and not for the faint of heart. This was recorded in, let me see, 1969, and these brothers got these saxophones and trumpets sounding like a synthesizer. There are no synthesizers on the 69, September 1969. There are no synthesizers on this album, but you swear there is one. And that's all what they're doing with the air and the reeds and their minds and their mouths. This is, it'll sound like birds squawking if I put it on now. You folks that know about this music know what I'm intimating at. This is Anthony Braxton, Actual number 15. This is amazing. Chico Freeman, another saxophonist who is excellent. No Time Left. This is on Black Saint with Famoudou Dan Moye on drums, which is another high point of this album. The entire ensemble is good, but I think like other musicians, there's certain things you notice, and Dan Moye's playing on this is he's just right there with Chico. It's on Black Saint, another fantastic label for jazz. Black Saint. Let me see if I can get it on. There it is, Black Saint. This redesign is great. I want to turn it back up some now. I love contrast of music. Which brings me to, well, actually, let me keep going here. I'm just going to go for a while. So those are the records, the jazz records that I was vibing with, but I also have some other records out that I've been playing. And let me just show what I have out. So I have been playing records a little bit, as well as playing my test. I'm not getting tired of it, and I've been sharing it with some folks coming by too. It's funny, I have that artist residency that's about to end in a couple months, and I have a studio down there and everything. I had endeavored to start making collages down there, and I got one started, but I only finished one. And the second one I started there, I didn't finish until I brought home yesterday, making a cover for one of my flyover test pressings. And I just like a riot of color and stuff. But that's like my latest collage. I just take stuff from art magazines and stuff and slap it together. Hopefully in a couple more weeks we'll be seeing some real records. Played this almost all the way through the other day. The Polite Force by Egg. Canterbury, Prague from England. This is 1970, I believe. Is when this came. Yeah, 1970. Dave Stewart. Mont Campbell, who wrote a lot of this stuff. You know, Mont Campbell needs to be recognized. But Dave Stewart is known for all of his work with Bruford, Hatfield and North, Cons, so many bands, Arzakel. This is excellent. And this is on a label that I wish I could afford to collect, like Vertigo, Duram. Not that everything on Duram would be good, but a lot is on that label. I was listening to some, I guess you call it post-rock last night. I have this Pelican mono split. This was some VCLT I got from Dan Fury. And I have another record by Mono. It's something that I might think about selling or trading, because Mono just does not ever lift off for me. They have a nice idea, but it just goes on. Something I've learned to not do is to make the music go somewhere. The Pelican side is better of the two here. This track here is great. Remixed by Ike Owens, who was in the Mars Volta for a while. I love this track. Hope I don't get blocked again. Sorry, folks. Sometimes I want to play music, sometimes I won't. Arc 2, Flaming Youth. Now, I'm a huge Genesis fan. Huge. And when I first heard Genesis in 1972, it hit me like a ton of bricks, Watcher of the Skies. But I, in fact, had this album before I had a Genesis album. And that's Phil Collins right there. Drummer and one of the singers. And I love this album. I was able to score it as a kid, as a cutout. And it's just managed to stay in my collection because it's that good. I did an interview for a podcast yesterday with the leader of the band Deleted Scenes. Anybody ever heard of that band, Deleted Scenes? And he was asking me about influences, and I just had to go for an honest one, which is Genesis, and we talked. And so I pulled this out to talk about roots, but I owned this album before I owned any records by Genesis. Braxton. Love, Peace and Poetry was playing some of this. The British psychedelic one, there's a whole series of them. They all have the same model. Someone was in love with this model. All the albums feature just these pictures of this model. I was in particular listening to the song Maypole by the band Dereck. Their album Round the Edges is extremely collectible. I do not have a copy of it. I was listening to this, Yes. They started off great. I love the band Yes. I was listening to side 2, Harold Land, their arrangement of Every Little Thing, where they interpolate, I forget the other song. I thought it was pretty clever. And this is a Canadian pressing on Red Atlantic. Yeah, Yes, I like Yes very much. I've heard some of their more recent stuff, and some of it is sounding, you know, like, just, you know, some of it sounds pretty tepid, and then some of it sounds okay. I played this Devil's Blood. I was telling you I needed to listen to it. I like this a lot. It is in the metal vein, kind of. It has those kind of vocals, but this guy's pretty good. I didn't really pay any attention to the lyrics. It's the music picture that I'm interested in, and this is good. This is something I won from Nathan Morales in one of his contests. Nick Gary, a reissue on Get Back, and this is by some is considered a lost pop classic, The Nightmare of J.B. Stanislaus. I think it's overrated. I think it's pretty good. Some of the arrangements on here are pretty cool, but as my honest opinion is, there's some hype. There's a bit of hype about this. This is I can think of a couple albums. Fillmore Lincoln, The North Wind Blues South, which is like this, blows this away. No diss on the person that gave it to me, but interesting how some records there's hype and talk, and I'll listen. I'll wonder why. Sometimes I think it's who a person is or who was behind the project as much as the record. That's an example. And then I was playing this, Pass Into Silence, Calm Like a Mill Pond, on Contact. Ambient electronic. Can never get enough of this stuff. You know, I'm going to wait a little bit longer to start pushing or talking more about my next record. Hopefully it'll be here, and then that's when I plan to do it. But I was having a conversation and getting some feedback from a fellow musician online, and you know, it's one of the hardest things to deal with as a creative person is feedback, especially when you feel like you're not being understood. And I just want to say that is one of my biggest challenges, because I'm a fan. I'm a musician fan musician. I've always played music, but I've always worked a job. And since I quit my job and have been trying to move more into making music, and it's like the more people are exposed to you, the more you have to deal with perceptions, and most people's perceptions firsthand of what I'm about are off. You know, it's hard for me to be diplomatic sometimes and not get all defensive and shitty, and it has to do with a lifetime of dealing with this. But just what I want to just say about my record, and this isn't the real cover, this is my collage covers. You know, I love music, and I'm an egghead who loves the music first and the words second. So my music has emerged out of a need to make it for myself, but I want to share it with the world, have been sharing it with the world, think it deserves to be heard, but it's just, if nothing else, it's folk art. It's not a designed product for the market with the market in mind. Like what I'm about to release, Flyover, is my version of a soundtrack for a movie, my first soundtrack that I've ever scored. And there's a lot of things that you could say about my soundtrack that it's like, well, it's rather repetitive. Well, I've never done it before, you know. What I'm trying to get at here is the best way to hear what I'm doing is to just hear it and not try to put it in a bag. I made this music that's about to come out for a movie, so it's instrumental. But I'm telling you what, I made some good music that you can do whatever you want with it, but you can do something with it. There is so much music in this world that is of varying quality, and I listen to a lot of it, that I'm at the point now where it's like, damn it, my music is what it is, accept it or not. The first thing I am not in, how do I put this? It's going to piss someone. I don't mean to piss anyone off, but I got to put it like this. Of course I wanted people to review it and tell me what they think. But I know what I did here. So the first thing that when people tell me, well, it could have done this, it could have done that, I already know that. Try to take it for what it is and then tell me. Because I made some really good music, and it's all online, you can hear for yourself. I'll go a little bit longer, and this is all kind of personal, so you know it's at the end, so you don't have to listen to this. You know, it's like some people might think, what the fuck is he talking about? But I'm trying to share something that I've just dealt with all of my life, which is being disappointed and discounted, and like on the one hand I'll have people that support me, and then there's been this whole other experience of being second guessed, and you should do this, you should do that, and being told what it is I ought to be doing. And that's just built up a layer of scab on me that has me angry, and it's like this. It's like I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm trying to do, I know what I'm trying to learn. So I'm putting my music out to share with you. The first thing I don't want to hear is what someone else would have done. This is what I did. Just like Bob Dylan has gotten away with singing like a strangled crow, and has become an icon in the world, I deserve to be taken just at space value, at what I'm giving. You know, some will like it, some won't. But I'm feeling this strong now. It's like, it's something that I'm learning. It's like you gotta just really believe in yourself and stand for yourself. And my next album is the best thing I've done. It's not trying to be something that it's not. Take it or leave it as it is. I'm doing damn good work. I'm doing it right here in this room, you know. And I am feeling, God damn it, that I am feeling like that. You know, it's like, go listen to this music. If you really listen to music, you'll hear that I've given you something good. And my friend who we were having the interaction with, I know you'll see this, and I hope you try to understand what I'm trying to express, because it's not personally towards you as a person. This is about my journey and what I've been dealing with and continue to deal with. You know, there are so many artists, there are so many people, I won't even call them artists, who put out stuff that's third, second half rate, and people fall all over it. And I continue to bust my nuts, and one of the first things I'll hear from people is, well, it needs this, should have done that, should have done that. It's like, nah, that's enough of that. Just go back and listen, and if it needs vocals, we'll sing on it. You know, and if you think you got a good vocal, send it to me and let me see what it sounds like. But I've made some good music. Go and find out, okay? Please try to understand a man's frustration. Try to understand what it might be like to be me in Omaha, Nebraska, 58, 59, going on 59, black, in a red state, someone whose life was changed by the Beatles coming to America 50 years ago tomorrow. That Ed Sullivan show changed my life. I'll never forget it. Tomorrow is the 50th anniversary. And it's just been a strange trip ever since. If the color of my skin was different, my story would be completely different, and you know it. So please try to understand when I'm saying all this stuff. I'm repeating myself. It's because it's so hard for some people to understand what I'm trying to say. I also want to say, Jeff, Alpha Stare, thanks for vibing with me and sharing what you've been through as a man of color, you know, of mixed heritage and people misunderstanding you. Thank you. I will get back to our project. Right now, my next album is really what's on my radar.